Welcome to the Salt Strong Podcast, disrupting fishing entertainment as you know it. Prepare to laugh. Prepare to get to know fishing legends in a whole new and unfiltered way. And on occasion, you might even learn a thing or two about fishing. Here's your host, Joe Simons. Like diamonds.
The devil went down to Florida. He was looking for soul to steal. Hey, everybody, I'm Joe Simons. Like diamonds. Devil went down to Florida. I'm back in Florida. Just got back late last night from Minneapolis. And this podcast is not a show about best places to live, but man, I am glad I am in Florida. It had a little snow there. It was that wintry season that people complain about and end up moving or spending half their year down in Florida for a reason. And I got there, it was in the 30s and just overcast and cloudy. And the reason I was there, the company that bought us, Corsair Brands, that is their home base. I got to go see their home office, meet their 100 plus employees, and actually had a great time. But it did remind me why I love Florida so much. And in this podcast, we're going to talk about if the devil wanted to end or undermine Christianity, what would he do? And I was watching on the long plane ride, did some reading, did some thinking, and spent a little time just looking through some social media stuff. And one of the guys I follow, he's a young pastor out of South Florida, Rich Wilkerson Jr. His father was a pastor as well, or is a pastor as well. And he had mentioned that he was on AI and he just typed into ChatGPT, if you were the devil, what would you do? And it went along this lines, like, I wouldn't waste my time trying to get you to worship me. Instead, I convince you not to worship God at all. That's interesting. And essentially, he would start undermining authorities, leaders, teachers, parents, everyone around you to just basically say, hey, your truth is your truth. As long as you're happy, it's right. Until no one knows which way's up, which way's down, and if God even exists. So essentially, remember that phrase, as long as you're happy, it's all right. That's all that matters. And I feel like that's the way we're going. I mean, even look at Harvard. If you guys haven't been, following Harvard, Harvard was, if you guys don't know the basis of Harvard, it was started as a university for teaching Christianity. It had pastors teaching. It was all about your moral obligations, about high morals based on Christianity. And now all that has been pushed out. Their head of religion is an atheist. Get that right. So this is a school, one of the hardest schools to get into, one of the most prestigious schools, one of the oldest schools in America, started with one of the main curriculums was just teaching good morals, right? They're still teaching everything you need to know about running a business and being successful in a career. But one of the other main pillars was Christianity, was religion. And now here we are in this day and age. If the devil wanted to undermine Christianity, here's what I would do. He's like, I would literally start putting people in the positions of teaching the young people who will be running the world. If you look at who runs the world today, a big chunk of them from, the Zuckerbergs, et cetera, went to Harvard. So these are going to be the most powerful people in America, which you could say is the most powerful people in the world, and are having teachers like their head of religion who is an atheist. That's just one of many examples. And so I couldn't stop thinking about it. So when I got home late last night, went to bed, and this morning I went to my own ChatGPT, and I actually did a little bit more specific. I said, imagine you were the devil and you're trying to end Christianity. What would you do? And it came up with 8 things. This is ChatGPT, 8 things that it would do to try to end and undermine Christianity. And I'll read them in no specific order, I don't think. It was just the 8 things that the devil would do. So number 1, I would encourage distraction over destruction. So the examples they use is I would make people too busy with too many apps, too overwhelmed, too stressed out, and too entertained. It used the word entertained twice, too entertained to think about the spiritual things at all. Not a war on faith. So the devil's like, I wouldn't actually put a war on faith and say you need to worship me. I would just have you so distracted with entertainment and overwhelm and the feeling of being too busy that there's so much noise you could never focus and have a relationship and have a walk with God. Wow. I get in it right there, and that's powerful because that is our life, right? If you ask anyone on the street, you got 100 people on any street, whether you're in New York, Chicago, Atlanta, Orlando, Florida, and ask them, do you feel like you have too many, too much overwhelmed, too many apps, too many things going on, you're too busy and stressed? And everyone, I'm willing to bet 100% of them would say yes. There would be very few that would say, yeah, you know what? I just take naps every day and I'm just not stressed at all. The majority of Americans are stressed out more than ever before. They feel like they're too busy. There's not enough hours in the day. They're overwhelmed. And also just look at entertainment. Look how much entertainers make. And it's not because, they have some special salary. It's all supply and demand. People are giving money to, and I'm talking everything from movies to sports, etc., more than ever before. I mean, that's why, a college football coach could make $40-50 million a year. It's not because they're that great. It's because that many people want to go see it and want to be entertained. And yet very few people are going to church, more people than ever are going to sporting games, etc., even though the costs are just bonkers. So number one, I would encourage distraction over destruction. So keep that in mind. And this is from ChatGPT, but if I was the devil, it said, I would not try to destroy it all. I would just try to distract you. So eventually I can come in and destroy it. Number two, I would replace deep belief, like deep held Christian beliefs, with shallow cliches. Basically promote a version of Christianity that is superficial. All sentiment, all feelings, no substance. All positivity, no discipleship. Right? I mean, if you guys have watched like the show The Chosen, this is not easy. These people weren't just having a great time and everyone loved them. It was really, really tough and people wanted to kill them. And it obviously did happen to all the original disciples. There was a lot of substance. There was a lot of discipleship. It wasn't discipleship. It wasn't positivity and just nice, good feelings of sentiment. No, it was hardcore discipleship. And they had to stop what they were doing, drop what they're doing, and follow Jesus. That was not an easy thing. And also get rid of all rich, or make it all about rituals and no relationship. And I feel like that's also happened in a lot of churches where it's more about the rituals and making sure we're doing the rituals right, and fasting on these days, and and that's nothing against fasting or any rituals that I'm saying are bad, but if it's all about rituals and there's really no focus on true relationship with God, why are we doing the rituals in the first place? And the overarching theme of this one, to replace deep belief with shallow cliches, is that shallow roots are very easy to pull up, right? Shallow roots, regardless if it's a weed or a tree or whatever, if you have a shallow root, it's really easy for someone to just pull that up. And so that's what the devil wants. The devil wants there to be no real relationship, no substance, no deep belief, more just shallow cliches. Like he said in Rich's thing, if you're happy, that's really all that matters. That's really, really easy root to pull up. Okay. That's number two. We got a few more, guys. This is crazy. As I was reading through it, I was like, this is wild. It feels like this is the world we're living in right now. Number three, I've already talked about this one before, divide Christians against each other. So essentially pushing believers to fight over secondary issues that don't really even matter, maybe not even in the Bible. That happens. Turn political disagreements into spiritual hostility. I'm going to read that one again. Turn political disagreements into spiritual hostility. As I've shared with you, I don't watch the news, but I do spend time on Facebook. And I feel like every single thing that has anything to do with religion or Christianity turns into a political disagreement that leads to some sort of hostility of Christians stink and you're the worst. And I mean, this is literally what we're living in right now. Also means to treat one another as enemies instead of family. Same deal. I have seen so much division amongst friends and my own family members, not in my personal, immediate family, But outside of that, of people and even close friends and high school friends that were really close now are enemies and talking smack to each other and unfriending each other. And I mean, it's just crazy all over something like a secondary issue, maybe even a tri-share, third issue that has nothing to do with Bible or having a relationship with God, because division dissolves any sort of relationship with God. If you're angry and you're hostile and all you can think about is what that person said or how dumb they are or whatever, you can't have a really good walk with God during that time. Number 4, corrupt leaders. A few highly visible moral failures can shake trust and delusion many. And this is not just talking about the president. This is all the way down to leaders of churches, right? I mean, how many times have we seen in the last couple of years where a priest or a head of a school, and when we're dealing with stuff in the news right now, where they were involved with, some children or underage people, horrible stuff. And yet, of course, that makes it up to the top of the news. And it just leads us to believe that you can't trust leaders, which leads us to believe that you can't trust spiritual or religious leaders, which leads us to believe you just can't trust anything. And all that matters is that you're happy. And once again, shallow roots are easy to pull up. So number 4 is corrupt leaders, and put them in the limelight for everyone to see. Number 5, use truths nearly identical counterfeits. So not outright lies, just really small distortions like your feelings are the highest authority. It used to be that your relationship with God was at the top. Now it's your feelings are the highest authority. So if you don't feel that way, it's okay. Once again, all that matters is that you're happy. Comfort is way more important than obedience. Going back to the biblical times, that was never even mentioned that comfort is the most important thing. But that's what we're being told, right? Is your comfort and your feelings are the highest authority. Your comfort and you just being comfortable is way more important than obedience. That's what the devil would lead us to believe. And that you can have faith without any sacrifice. Boom. That's a hard one. And that's hard for all of us because I think we are being trained that, we want to be comfortable and it shouldn't have to be hard. And Jesus already died for our sins. It should all be easy. But you can't have full faith without some sort of sacrifice. And that's been a true theme, a truth forever. And I feel like in this stage, we're trying to get away from that. And it's no wonder we have a lot of people and just society in general with really, really shallow roots that are really easy to pull up and really easy to get distracted and really easy to get overwhelmed and really easy to get too busy to go to church or to talk to God or pray, etc. Number 6, to turn faith into a brand, instead of a transformation. And this would be to promote Christian identity as cultural and tribal or even political right now, rather than moral and spiritual and relational. I don't even have to talk anymore about that one. That's literally what we're living through. And there's even some churches out there that have essentially just turned into a big brand. It's all about their brand and less about the transformation with God. And I'm not trying to call out names or knock on them, but you've probably seen them out there. And I do think some of them serve a purpose of getting people who would never even look at having a real relationship with God, at least getting them in and moving them up the ladder. But in general, there's so many of even real Christians that are just promoting this all as just a big brand, and it's all political and less about your morals and the spiritual side of it and having a true relationship with God. That's number 6. Number 7, make Christians fear being different. I mean, this happens in other countries. It has not happened in USA because it started, even though it didn't start as a Christian society, that was kind of where all the roots were. And now it feels like, you're almost a weird person or a bad person if you're vocal about being Christian. And that was not the case the last 100 years, but over the last couple of decades, it seems to be more and more true. And so that's what, once again, this is what the devil would do, is make Christians fear being different, encourage the idea that moral conviction equals intolerance and hypocritical. And that would make believers very reluctant to speak up or really live distinctly, like really live a life of Christ. And I mean, we're seeing that. I've personally struggled with that in some cases. It is tough, to be bold, even though we know when we should. I think because of that fear of being different or being looked upon. But as I said earlier, no one said this was going to be an easy road. And number 8, focus attention on hypocrisy rather than Christ. Highlight every single failure of every Christian so the entire faith appears to be invalid by association. Boom. I mean, talk about something that has happened. It ties in with something we've already talked about, but I'll repeat this one because it bears repeating. Focus attention on hypocrisy rather than Christ. So highlight every single failure of every living Christian so the entire faith appears invalid by association. That is what the news and the media, it seems like that's their number one goal, is anytime there's someone that's in trouble, and if they're even associated with Christianity, that somehow makes the headline, right? Like former pastor, former religion teacher, it's like, even though that might have been something they did when they were 20 and now they're 50 and they hadn't done it in 30 years, it seems to just be the thing that the media and Satan just wants us to be at the top, because once again, it makes all faith and all Christianity look bad and almost invalid by association. And I think what people forget here is that this whole thing, religion, Christianity, spirituality, we are, as people, as humans in the flesh, are the sinners. It is not going to be perfect, and there are going to be churches that hurt people. There always will be, and there always have been. There are going to be religious leaders that do stupid stuff. They are human, but that does not change your relationship with God and Jesus. It is not Jesus who is hurting the people. It is not Jesus who is going out and doing dumb stuff that is making the news. It is not God who is doing it. It is humans who are sinners by nature are the ones doing these, let's just say, dumb or inappropriate or even unethical things. And I think that's the biggest thing that people miss is all of a sudden it's, oh, this person who's a human in the flesh, who's a sinner, did this stupid thing. Let's burn him at the stake. And while we're doing that, we're going to burn all Christianity at the stake and say that Jesus is horrible and God's horrible, et cetera. And that's really what the devil wants, is it said in both Rich's case for ChatGPT and the one that I did, very specifically said, I would never try to get people to worship me. That's not going to work. It's proven not to work. I'm just going to undermine the thing that they are worshiping, the thing they should be worshiping. I'm going to make all that look so bad that so at some point I'll be able to swoop in and make it easy. But for now, I'm just going to cause chaos. I'm going to cause people to be too busy, too overwhelmed, too entertained, and too just hypocritical, bashing each other to ever think about having a real relationship with with God. I just want there to be constant noise. I just want them to be shallow roots that I can pull up really, really easy. And I'll let you guys decide if that's where we're going. As I read through this, it hit me so hard that is going to be one of the biggest challenges. And the answer is pretty obvious. Do the opposite of all this. Don't be too overwhelmed and too busy and to entertain, to have a relationship with God. You do what we've talked about on all these past podcasts. Start your day every morning, whether it's 5-10 minutes, start somewhere having that relationship with God. You'll be amazed at the awesome things that happen to you, the peace that you have. Because if someone did ask me about being overwhelmed or too distracted, yeah, there's certain days, and I talked about it on a recent podcast where I needed to slow down. It was the last podcast, right? And yet, in general, though, like even on the way home, being able to read on this 3+ hour flight, I was like, man, I am so blessed, and I'm really not that overwhelmed. I don't have things. There's certain things I obviously have to do as both a leader and a business person and a now employee. And a father and a husband. But in general, my life's not that tough. And I'm not that distracted. I'm not that busy. I feel like we make ourselves so busy because it's exactly what the devil wants us to do. So anyhow, it's just a great reminder to get closer and closer with God, not farther away, and eliminate the hypocrisy and the feuding and the arguments with other Christians. I mean, that's the thing that drives me crazy the most. And I'm sure that's what the devil is smiling the most, is these just stupid issues that have nothing to do with our faith and our walk with God that people are arguing about as fellow Christians. First and foremost, this is time where we need to act like family. We need to treat one another as family and not enemies. It is going to be really, really easy for Satan to topple the whole thing down if we once again have no real deep roots and we're all just saying, as long as we're happy, that's all that matters. So I'll leave you with that. Would love any feedback, joe@saltstrong.com, if I missed anything, or if you have certain thoughts that agree or disagree with this. I'm not saying I'm the expert. I'm reading off exactly what ChatGPT said it would do. So hope you enjoyed this one. And I will talk to you in the next episode. My email, as always, joe@saltstrong.com. And I really would love to hear from you. Talk to you on the next episode.
'Cause fishing, it's in my soul, it was